Alright, what is up everybody? It is AMSatellite and we're back with another League of Legends video. And yes, this is a comeback video that I am making. I'm gonna be trying starting from now to upload more regularly. Following the schedule that I used to follow before, which is the 1 video per week schedule. And then perhaps if things continue getting better, I'm gonna upload a little bit more often in the next few weeks. So I'm not gonna give you guys any updates on my personal situation into details in this video because I don't want it to be too long. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it out there that things are getting better. It's gonna take a while, it's gonna take a bit, but things are getting better. And the fact that I'm uploading is kind of proving that. So let's get to it, alright? So I wanted to show you guys a setup that's been getting me pretty high up. I'm actually Diamond 363 league points at this time, and I've already played and sadly failed the Diamond 2 promos, which kind of goes to show that the Garen buffs mixed with this new build and playstyle that I'm gonna showcase to you have worked into making Garen a little bit more of a successful pick in higher tiers like Diamond and above. So this is kind of the build I've been using, and I couldn't wait to share it with you guys because I really think it's what makes Garen viable right now. So I would recommend you guys try this out, and hopefully you're gonna be able to enjoy climbing the ladder as much as I am. Alright, so here's the thing. The build is called Demolisher Garen. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. For now, I'm going to show you the runes, and then perhaps I'm going to show you some gameplay to kind of, give you guys insight on how it works. I'm kind of ill, I got a bit of a flu. You guys can probably hear that from my voice, but I'm going to be trying to be as consistent in the commentary as I can still. So our keystone is going to be Grasp. We are going to one thing I meant to say before starting to discuss this is I will give you guys a full update on my personal situation soon, but that has to be its own video, maybe a video log, so you guys are gonna have to hang in there for a little while. What you need to know is that things have been getting better, so just a little bit of patience there and we'll be fine soon. So Grasp of the Undying. So this is a very simple keystone. We've talked about this before. I don't really want to spend too much time talking about it. I'm gonna just tell you why it works with this build. And the reason it works with this build is Garen with this build is aimed at being sort of a tank. Not really a tank, because we do want to do our damage. We will be building the damage items we usually get in every game. But we won't rush them. We will be rushing a defensive item based upon the enemy laning type and some other factors. And that's going to ensure, Grasp is going to ensure that all the HP we build is also going to give us a little bit of offensive potential. And Grasp gives us in combat sustain, which is just very, very good, because this rune page you can probably see is aimed at making Garen's early game a little bit more relevant, because Garen's laning phase is poor, but even when after the buffs, because the buffs are more buffs to mid and late game. But with this build, with this situation, with this setup, you can actually do well in lane, and this is this is why. So Grasp is our keystone. Demolish is our second rune. Demolish is very simple as well. You stay close to a tower. After a while, you're going to be able to deal an extremely big amount of damage to it. 100 plus 35% of our maximum HP. And that's obviously colossal, because that means that even though we build mostly HP, thanks to the fact that we will be maxing Q and the Demolish procs, we will be able to still threaten the enemy turret plating throughout laning phase. And one thing you guys will see me do in gameplay very often is I'll just push people in and abuse Demolish, because I'll be so tanky they won't be able to push me out of tower range. So I do get to proc Demolish and get plating. So in lanes where you really can't kill your opponent, you get to basically destroy their tower and still get a shitload of gold out of it, even though you can't kill them. So this is very good. And well, I mean, obviously into lanes in which you can kill your opponent, you'll kill them, and then you'll also get turret plating out of that. So the lead you build is colossal. Generally speaking, during mid and late game, you will want to play around Demolish. Demolish is the key that opens up the door for Garen's viability, in my opinion. It's the key for this build. You're going to run this, you're going to abuse this. Every time it's up, you're going to want to try and threaten towers across the map, especially when turret plating is still up. You can go in other lanes like mid lane and bot lane to snowball your lead and abuse this and proc Demolish, give gold to yourself and your teammates, funneling them with resources to either get back in the game if they're losing or become overpowered if they're already winning. So Demolish is just the key. Second Wind is just very simple. I'm not going to waste too much time talking about it. It just heals you if you trade. It basically gives you a degree of healing if you trade, similar to popping a potion. And it stacks with the potions you pop. So this is just very, very good. Garen's laning phase is very bad. So having Second Wind really helps. It lasts for 10 seconds. So your passive will be up in 9, which means that as long as, like, it's basically you have your passive during the trade with Second Wind. It's just that, and it's very good. Overgrowth has been buffed, and this is basically you scale with your HP based upon the amount of minions and monsters that die near you. Doesn't mean you have to kill them, they just have to die near you, so you don't even have to last hit properly. You consistently stack up HP. And it's just very, very good. Once you get the 3.5% boost, it's also very, very good, because this ties nicely with your grasp procs that increase your HP, and it ties nicely with the fact that we build a lot of HP early, and it buffs Demolish's damage, because the more HP we have, the more Demolish does. So this is just very, very good and well synergized, and we will abuse this to, you know, sort of ensure maximum tower damage by mid-late. Then our secondary tree is going to be Inspiration, and from Inspiration we really just take Biscuit Delivery and Time Warp Tonic. Now what this does is, Biscuit Delivery is very simple. We get a biscuit every 3 minutes until 12, which means we get a total of 4 biscuits at 3, 6, 9, and 12 minutes. And biscuits will restore, well, I mean, they would restore 15% of our missing health and mana, but because we are manaless, we get 20% of our missing health instead. Now this is very, very good on its own, because if you pop a biscuit when you're on a certain, you know, when you're below a certain threshold of HP, you'll be sustaining that, and you'll be sustaining fast, and that's great. But what this is really cool is its interaction with the Time Warp Tonic. So Time Warp Tonic, what it'll do is, it consuming a potion or biscuit grants 50% of its health or mana restoration immediately, puts the consumable on a cooldown. The cooldown is equal to the duration of the consumable itself, so like you can't pop 4 biscuits at once. That's basically the only reason why this is. And in addition, you get 5% movement speed while under their effects. Now this is so great, because this means that a potion gives you 150 HP back. You will be getting 75 instantly, and this is insane early game. Like when you start with the cloth armor and 5 and 4 potions, that means you pop 1 potion, you get 75% HP, 75 HP, boom, just like that. It pops out of nowhere, and people don't see that coming. They think they've won a trade, and then your HP bar goes back up, and they're like, wait, what happened? I thought I won this trade. This is really psychological warfare, and it's incredibly powerful because you actually get to trade more often, because you don't have to wait for the potion to heal you up gradually. So this is huge. But here is the best part. When these two runes interact, here's what happens. We would be getting 20% of our missing health over a duration of 15 seconds. Instead, we get 10% of our missing health back immediately, and then the remaining 10% will be given to us during the 15 seconds. Now this is crazy. To put this in perspective, Darius's Q, when it hits one champion, will give Darius 12% of his missing health back. A biscuit with Time Warp Tonic will be giving us 10%, which is awful close to that 12%. This is basically like giving Garen a Darius Q on demand with the press of a button. And you can stock up a biscuit and a potion for even more healing. So 10% of your missing HP will be given to you immediately, and in addition to that, you can get a little bit more HP through the potion. So these two runes work very well, and generally speaking, this is why Garen's laning phase becomes better, because the combination of Second Wind replacing Doran's Shield's passive, because we won't be starting Doran's Shield ever with this build, because we want to have as many potions as we can in the early game. So we'll be starting things like Longsword 3 potions, or Boots with 4 potions, Cloth Armor and 4 potions, Ruby Crystal and 2, and so on. We want to get as many potions as we can. So Second Wind will replace the Doran's Shield passive, and it's actually better than the Doran's Shield passive, so that will be replaced. And in addition to that, we get the 5% movement speed and the immediate healing from Time Warp Tonic. So you can clutch. You can get clutch kills very easily with this setup that you would normally never get. As a result, because we usually start with very defensive stats early game, we'll be getting 9 Adaptive Force as both our shards, and then health per level with our last shard, which is going to give us more health and, you know, continuously empower our demolish procs and all that. So I think this kind of sums up very well how the setup works in the early game and how the rune setup works. Now I'm going to skip over to some gameplay. I'm going to try to just cut a few important moments from a video, from a stream that I done in the past during my Diamond 3 game. So this is high elo, just in case you guys are wondering. I'm going to show you guys a good game from a higher tier than the average you probably see usually, so that you can see that this build is actually very effective into people that actually know how to play the game. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to discuss more of the benefits of this page in gameplay. Alright, and here we are in gameplay. I'm going to try to be order here and, you know, maintain a sort of schedule with what I'm going to tell you guys. So we're going to first off be discussing the point distribution of this build, because it's a little peculiar. Alright, so here how things work. We want to take advantage of the W buff, so we're going to try to max W before we max E. Well, we can't straight up max W second, because otherwise we won't have enough damage to go for mid game and late game. So here is how it works. We're gonna max Q in laning phase, so max Q by level 9 and spend the level 8 point into E. So this is just normal Q max so far. On level 10 we'll be spending another point into E, and after that we will be maxing W. This guarantees that your W cooldown will go down as the game progresses very fast, and this is crazy good for you, and it will ensure that you have enough damage in laning phase thanks to the Q max, along with enough damage in mid game and late game thanks to E having 3 points. So this is how you're gonna be distributing the points for this setup. Now I'm gonna show you a few clips that showcase the effectiveness of the biscuit plus time warp tonic combination. This first one is very cool because I pop a potion there, then I pop a biscuit, then I proc grasp, and that's 3 healings in fight, one after the other, that destroyed this Aurelius dive. If I didn't have time warp tonic plus potion and the biscuit, I wouldn't have survived that. Now here's another very good clip. I'm gonna kill this guy thanks to, you know, ignite, and I actually waste my flash and use my W to block that turret page. So now my W's on cooldown and my flash is not there. As you can see, here is what's gonna happen. Nidalee and Yi are both going to gank, and the Nidalee will be very close to killing me. I will survive with a very low amount of HP. Guess what? Biscuit is the reason I will survive. Now pay attention to my health bar here. As you can see, the Yi tries to dive, and then the Nidalee shows up. I focus her to silence her and prevent her from casting. And then eventually, I fight the Hecarim, who is just doing AoE damage. I pop the biscuit right there, and as you can see, I live with about 80 HP. I do get a level up after the kill, but prior to that, I would have already been dead if it wasn't for the biscuit saving my life. Now, Time Warp Tonic doesn't just do the great service of giving you half of the regeneration from a potion or a biscuit immediately, it also gives you 5% movement speed, 5% bonus movement speed for the duration of that consumable. And as you can see here, I'm popping a biscuit, popping about 120 HP, then I flash away, and as you can see, I am able to outrun this Eve thanks to the biscuit movement speed. So the biscuit saved my life, first by giving me back the HP, and then it saves it because it gives me enough movement speed to actually outrun her. And that's crazy, guys. This is incredible stuff. Now I'm going to just show you some gameplay in the background while we'll discuss about the build and the playstyle. Before we talk about anything else, I want to talk a little bit about the build. What you're going to be building is one defensive item based upon the damage type of your opponent. Ideally, the defensive item can be Deadman Plate, because this Deadman Plate is incredible on Garen. It's one of the best items, if not the best item, that Garen can have in the game. So, if you're against an AD matchup, you're going to be rushing Deadman Plate. If you're against an AP matchup, you're going to be rushing at Spirit Visage. Once you've completed your first defensive item, you're going to be looking into building Trinity Force. Trinity Force is generally better than Black Cleaver, especially after you build a defensive item, because you're tanky, so you won't be feeling the lack of HP that you would normally feel when you build Trinity instead of Black Cleaver. So what you'll do is you'll build Trinity Force, unless there's too many tanks and you know your team is going to need you to armor shred them properly. You're going to get Trinity Force second. Now at that point, you're going to check out the enemy team composition and where the gold is at. If they're far ahead, you might want to get another defensive item so you can stall the game a little bit and make sure that your team gets to late game safely by being a strong frontliner. Otherwise, you're going to be rushing, or you're going to be getting a Sterak's Gauge after Trinity Force. So if you're far ahead, you get Sterak's Gauge. If you're not, you get another defensive item. Trinity Force or Black Cleaver can be good solo damage items for quite a long time. It isn't until the very late game when Sterak's Gauge is really mandatory. Also, don't be afraid of getting Mom Mordius instead of Sterak's Gauge if the enemy team has a lot of magic damage. Now, let's talk about the playstyle. The playstyle with this build is very simple. You're gonna want to play around Demolish. Now, why is Demolish so incredible with this build? Well, because we want to win the early game, and this means that in the early game, you guys need to fight and trade constantly. Pop time warp tonic potions all the time, and consistently fight and trade. You're gonna be building the defensive items because they, counterintuitively, are the best items to actually win trades in the early game. But that means that you can't threaten the enemy tower plating because you don't have any damage. Enter Demolish. Demolish guarantees that you can get tower plating after you killed an enemy. Sometimes you can even be so tanky that you don't have to kill the enemy and you can just ignore them and take plating in front of them by using your W under their tower while they try to push you out of it. And you know, it's great. You will, and generally it works against every matchup because eventually you're going to be tanky as fuck and people can't kill you, so you just take their plating in front of them. Now, ideally, you're going to be getting first tower top. Once you do that, depending on your team status, you're going to want to show up mid lane or bot lane to use Demolish there as well. Now, this clip kind of showcases me trying to do that. I kind of do it sloppy here because I end up going for kills as well, not just the tower plating. But you will be seeing that I will be taking this tower anyway. And it's going to take a long time, but because I'm so tanky and Garen becomes essentially an immovable object with this build, you will be able to pressure towers forever. And I didn't even have my level 11, which gives Garen so much more pressure thanks to the enhanced passive. Alright, so the playstyle for mid game is show up in the lane that most needs help so you can give them tower plating or just tower and funnel more gold into your carries. That way you're going to ensure that the game will have win conditions even if you are unable to reach the enemy backline. After mid game, late game is pretty much all the same. You are especially powerful against towers. So you can push wherever you need to push. You can push on your own in a side lane if your team is far ahead, or you can be the frontliner for your team and push while the enemy carries are trying to kill you. Yours get the chance to kill them. And that's pretty good. You know, that's great. That means that you're a frontliner, but you can threaten towers so consistently that the enemy team has to react to you, giving more room to your teammates to make plays around the rest of the map where you are not present. So this is, you know, or you can just be with them and essentially tank damage while they DPS, and they essentially take care of the damage portion of the game for you. So generally speaking, this is just the late game is just regular tank Garen gameplay. But because you'll have built so much of an advantage over the enemy top laner, and hopefully you'll have been able to funnel some gold into your teammates, you're gonna be pretty big, pretty tanky, but still very damaging and scary. And your Demolish will always ensure that you are dangerous to enemy towers, meaning that the enemy team can't just ignore you and let you push, whether you're split pushing or team fighting. Alright guys, so that's about it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are happy that I'm making a return. There's not much that I have to say about this build anymore. If you guys want to know more, I recommend you check out my MOBAFIRE guide, which is updated and filled with information about this build. I'm gonna let you guys witness the power of this build in late game with a neat little triple kill clip that I'm showing you right now. And I'm gonna thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys will stop by my MOBAFIRE guide to read more about this, or stop by my stream on Twitch to see me use this build in very, very high elo. At this point, we're actually in Diamond 2, Diamond 2 promos. So, you know, I'm climbing pretty fast thanks to this, and I really, really recommend you guys give it a go. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.